Welcome back to Digital Wandering. And today I wanted to bring you a new device that I have running Ubuntu Touch. But I wanted to start off with the originals. These are the first devices that I've used on that operating system. We have the Nexus 7 on the left, and then also the Nexus 5. But now we have the Google Pixel 3a. And I just have to say, this is a great experience. If you enjoy Ubuntu Touch and you've been using something like the Nexus devices or something around that time frame, getting this is a huge upgrade. This is the Nexus devices that I have here are from 2013, and they actually run Ubuntu Touch pretty well. Of the two, the device that has the most, successful porting of Ubuntu Touch is the Nexus 5. But the Nexus 7, even though it doesn't have a successful port, it's still a pretty decent experience. So if you like Ubuntu Touch, I think you would enjoy the experience of using it on either of those devices. But this, the Google Pixel 3a, really surpasses them as far as usability. It's just a couple things. I mean, the main thing is that this phone was released in 2019 as opposed to the 2013 of the other devices that I have here. 6 years is a lifetime in smartphones. You do get some additional things here, more memory and more storage space. And I think those are the two things that really made a huge difference for me. I first started off with Ubuntu Touch on the Nexus 7, and the Nexus 7, and originally I didn't like it. On 2019, I think is the first time I used Ubuntu Touch. I installed it on the Nexus 7. The Nexus 7 was buggy under Android by that time. So I bought the Nexus 7 brand new in 2013, and I used it on Android frequently the first 3 years that was supported. After that, I had it for 3 years. I wasn't using it as much. So when I tried to use it again around that time, 2019, on Android, it was really buggy. So this is after it's already out of support. It was out of support in like 2016. So this is a few years beyond that, and it just was really buggy and almost unusable under Android. So at that point, I wasn't losing anything by putting Ubuntu Touch on there. Read about it online, downloaded the installer, installed it. Did not like it in 2019. I used it very sparingly, and I put it away into storage. Finally, I took it back out. I believe it was early this year, 2021, and had a renewed appreciation for the OS and really fell in love with it. And then I went and got a used Nexus 5 earlier this year just to continue with the experience. And I really liked the Nexus 5, and I was using this under Ubuntu Touch every day. I kind of went from the Nexus 7 to the Nexus 5 mostly, but there was a couple drawbacks on the Nexus 5 in that, especially going from the Nexus 7, the smaller screen size, as you can obviously see, that's a big difference. And it did not, there is a default or pre-installed video app on Ubuntu Touch, and it does not work on the Nexus 5. It works fine on the Nexus 7, but it did not work on the Nexus 5. And also, the Nexus 5, this only has 16 gigabytes of internal storage as opposed to the 32 gigabytes of the Nexus 7. And I don't think it's going to show it right now. So there was a lot of drawbacks in going to the Nexus 5. One major benefit was that the camera works on the Nexus 5, and it did not. The camera app, the default camera app, does not work on the Nexus 7. And it won't show this right now, but it should rotate. Yeah, but the Nexus 7 has an issue, and it's not showing it now. It's rotating just fine, the screen rotation. but the screen rotation on this device will freeze and not work, even though it is active in the settings. And the only way to get the screen to rotate again is to shut the device down or restart it. And then right now it's fine, but it will just freeze during use whenever it feels like doing it. It normally happens at least once a day. So I was enjoying the OS, but there was the problems with the low memory, the 16 gigabyte storage size here, which was driving me nuts in the Nexus 5. And there was another thing that was happening with the Nexus 5 is that it was having difficulty streaming video on certain sites. YouTube was fine, PBS video was fine, just about everything else, it was really a struggle to stream video, and also locally save video on this device, the Google Nexus 5, that was 720p or above was almost unplayable, and that's locally saved on the device itself. So that was a major problem. So let's go over to the Pixel 3a. So we have 4 gigabytes of RAM as opposed to the 2 in these devices there. I have 64. Not all of it is user accessible, but it's listed at 64 gigabytes of internal storage as opposed to Nexus 5 with 16 and my Nexus 7 with 32. So 4 times or double the storage space. You do have biometrics. I do have a fingerprint reader, although it's not active right now. I haven't set it up on the Pixel 3a. I don't know when I'm going to do that because I had a problem with my other Pixel phone, the Pixel 2. I actually deactivated the fingerprint reader because it was constantly being registered. It was causing problems because your finger naturally rests right around where the fingerprint reader is. So it was constantly registering false attempts to be opened by a finger. It's hard to explain, but it was really causing so many issues. And then it was also very buggy. I found it on the Pixel 2. So I haven't I have no idea how well it'll work on the Pixel 3a. It's probably going to be better, but I haven't activated it yet. That actually on the Pixel 2, that was actually one of the worst fingerprint reader experiences that I had on a device. And that was under Android. I haven't actually, that device is now running Calyx OS, and I'm not sure exactly how a fingerprint reader runs under there because I haven't activated it yet. I'm pretty much okay using my passcode to open these, but I love having that option of the fingerprint reader if I choose to activate it. It's definitely very convenient to open the device quickly. One thing you miss with the Nexus devices all have wireless charging, so that's a major thing that I'm missing with the Pixel 3a. It does not have wireless charging. Camera performance, I would say that the Pixel 3a has a better camera. Again, the Nexus 7, you're not able to access the camera. At least I've never been able to do so. And that's with multiple installations here. I think I've installed it and wiped it and installed it again, and never was able to access the camera. I think that's a consistent issue with the Nexus 7. Nexus 5, the camera works fine. On the Nexus device in general, at that time when they were brand new, one of the great complaints from users was the camera quality. In 2021, using the camera app on Ubuntu Touch on my Nexus 5, I was pretty satisfied with the camera quality. This is a much later camera system here, and we don't have the advantage of the Google camera and its processing here, since this is running a different operating system. But we are using the physical capabilities of the camera here, and I'm pretty pleased with the results on the limited time that I've used the camera here on my test shots. Thought they were just fine. But it's just a much smoother experience. We mentioned the streaming on the Nexus devices. Nexus 7 streams and handles 720p video and above much better than the Nexus 5, even though these devices came out at the same time in the same year and they have the same, at least on paper, the same amount of memory. They're just much more power they must have packed into the Nexus 7, the internals, because it is still able to handle streaming sites that are choked and are really skippy and stuttery on the Nexus 5. Nexus 7 can still handle it. On the Pixel 3a, it's not any problem at all. It's probably even better than the Nexus 7. It's just really nice because one of the things is, and this is one of the great things about having this device, is that I like to have a lot of media locally stored on my devices. Using my device as a personal media player is a big use case for me. So having more storage space and having more ability to run more higher quality video, that's a major benefit here for the Pixel 3a. Installation. Now, the installation on paper is more work on the Pixel 3a. First off, again, I don't know if I really talked about this yet in this video. I have another Pixel 3a. And if you've been watching this channel, you may be familiar with this alternate Pixel 3a. This one is still running Android. I purchased this online, and then I found out, although this device is unlocked, it's an unlocked phone, the unlocked of this Pixel 3a is just a SIM card tray. So that means that I can put in my personal SIM and it will work. Any SIM card that will operate on the 4G bands that are available on that phone you could use. So that was great, but it doesn't apply to the bootloader. So when you're buying a phone, you have to, if you're going to be putting an alternate operating system on there, you have to make sure you can unlock the bootloader. This is something that's new to me. I don't, until this year, I've never placed a alternate operating system onto a smartphone. I always just use the pre-installed operating system on a smartphone. But you know what? That's not exactly true. I'm thinking about my Windows phones that came with Windows 8.1, and I had to force Windows 10 onto them. I had to use a hack to get them on. So that's the only other time. But in general, I just not experienced as far as putting an alternate operating system on the phone. That's something I had to do. So I knew I had to have an unlocked device, but I didn't know that I had to specify, or I had to look for a phone that specified, said it was factory unlocked. So that first Pixel 3a, it was an unlocked phone, so I can put my SIM card in there and it can work. But the bootloader was closed by the phone carrier, so I couldn't open that. But here, when I purchased this one, and I was a little nervous doing it because if I got another phone with a locked bootloader that is unable to be opened, I didn't want to have two Pixel 3a's on Android. But I took a chance. I got another Pixel 3a, looked for one that said it was factory unlocked, and yes, so the second Pixel 3a, I was able to open the bootloader and put this alternate operating system on there. Now, part of that process is that this phone, when it came, was on, I believe, Android 10. To install Ubuntu Touch on here, you have to roll it back to Android 9, like the last build of Android 9. It's not that hard to do. I found a tutorial on doing so, and I already used that tutorial to install or to my attempt to install Ubuntu Touch on that previous Pixel 3a, and where that didn't get far. And then also my Pixel 2, I tried to get Ubuntu Touch on there. That didn't work, and I eventually put Calyx OS on there. So I had the experience of playing around with the bootloader and trying to install an older version of Android. So when this came around, I didn't have to pull out the tutorial again. I found a tutorial on YouTube that let me know how to install an alternate version of, or older version of Android onto a phone. And I just, I still remembered how to do it, so I didn't actually have to look at the tutorial again. Not that hard, but you just have to follow the correct steps. And so it's a little bit more involved because you have to roll it back to an earlier version of Android on the Google Pixel 3a. More involved. And then after you roll it back to an older version of Android, then you can connect it to the installer. And then you can install Ubuntu Touch to it. You don't have to do that on the Pixel devices. I didn't have to do anything with the version of Android that was on there. I think it was Marshmallow on both of these, and I was just able to connect these phones to the installer and run the Ubuntu Touch installer on my computer. And then it installed. Now, one thing is that the install, although it's more involved on paper here, the install was a lot quicker. I think it was within a half hour, I was able to do everything as far as rolling it back to an earlier version of Android and then running the Ubuntu Touch installer once that was done. Probably took about half an hour total. These, for whatever reason, it took maybe, in each of these, it took as long as a couple of hours to complete the installation. I just remember that the installer was just spinning for long times while they were connected to my computer. And I think I even restarted the process with both of these as it was going on because it was taking so long, so I thought it was stuck. So I tried to do it again. Eventually, it installed just fine. But it's almost like you just want to watch a movie while it's happening and then don't touch it and let it do what it do. Here, it just was a lot quicker. And everything is just fabulous right now. Just a really good experience. So you do get a much bigger screen than you have with the Nexus 5. Not much bigger, I guess. It's 5.6 inches as opposed to 5-inch with the Nexus 5. And not as big as the Nexus 7, although I would say that the screen here is better in theory. Now, one thing is you can get these Pixel 3As fairly inexpensive. When these were first new in 2019, I think they cost about $400 US. I paid less than $80 for this online, refurbished now. It's in really decent condition, though, I would say. But it is a refurbished device. It's not brand new. But $80, and that's after tax. And that's just a really good price for a phone that's a few years old. But what I'm getting at is one of the things, and I paid a similar price or less for my other Pixel 3a. A lot of the cheap refurbished Pixel 3as online, they mention that they have screen issues like screen shadowing, screen shading. So it is noticeable, especially on with certain backgrounds, like white backgrounds is really noticeable that there's some screen shading here. And let's see if we can show that. It may not come up that well. I'm just going to open the app. It's on dark mode, so it's not showing it the way I thought it would. Let's see here. I don't know if you probably are not going to notice any screen shadowing. It can be fairly subtle. It's kind of noticeable up here, the striping. So there's some screen striping here. And now, if I said in the if I said on this channel before, I am not a screen snob. So I've used screens on my devices that I've shown on this channel. This is trying to type here and talk at the same time. I can't do it. From like 2000 on my laptops. I have laptops from a few years ago all the way to like 2000. And I'm not really that bothered by. It's running Mac OS 10.7 Lion. 10.7 Lion was released originally in 2011, and Apple dropped support for it in 2014. So supported for 3 years. Just start with the focusing. This is the first version of Mac OS that was available for digital download. Okay, there we go. So it works really well. Much higher quality. Wow. Turn that down. Much higher quality video playback on this version, or this phone, I should say. Just a lot better. Another thing is the speakers are a lot better on the Pixel 3a as opposed to the Nexus 5. Nexus 5 speakers are really tinny. It's really difficult to hear things. Like my videos, I could not hear them on the Nexus 5. If I tried to bring it up on the Nexus 5, it just would not be. Let's try to do that here. Let's see what we can do. Let's pull up. Oh, okay. And we can watch me struggle again. Nothing works when you're trying to do it while you're filming. Okay, let's see. Digital wandering. I should have come up with an easier to type username for my channel. Let's see how it works. Okay. And as you see here, it's running. Actually, that's not too bad. Was 10.7 Lion. 10.7 Lion was released. That's a lot better than I expected. In 2011. Let me see if on the sound on one of my other videos here. Welcome back to Digital Wandering. Well, that's actually really good. And today I wanted to address. One thing I do want to address is a lot of times people complain about, well, I shouldn't say a lot. I do get some complaints about the sound on my videos, and I just use the cameras that I have accessible. Like right now I'm filming this with my iPhone. On my devices, for the most part, I can hear everything just fine. But there are going to be issues with certain devices because this is not a professional operation. I'm just using the cameras and the microphones that are available. And sometimes on certain devices, if you have a device that doesn't have a great speaker, it may not come through that well. But in general, on my devices, I can hear my videos just fine. I do try to test them and listen to them and see what they are, what the sound is like. That actually is a lot better. And I guess I probably would have to find a video that has worse sound than my videos apparently, because they sound pretty good here. It always happens when you test. Nothing ever works out like you would expect. But yeah, this is a much better experience in general. And YouTube is a really a great way. Now, all these devices will play YouTube just fine, so it's not a problem to use YouTube on any of them. But other streaming services, and I don't really have the time to show them all, really The Nexus 5 does not operate that well on them. So yeah, using the Pixel 3a is definitely something that has enhanced my experience with Ubuntu Touch. And just to show what I'm currently running, this video is getting kind of long, so maybe I'll have to do another video to talk about some of the apps that we have here. But I'm definitely an app hoarder, so I do like to have a lot of apps, and using Ubuntu Touch, it is a definite change from using stock Android or iOS. I haven't made a decision to not use a particular operating system. I'm using them all. As you see, I have a Pixel 3a over there on stock Android. I'm filming this with my iPhone. So although I enjoy Ubuntu Touch a lot, I use it in conjunction with these other operating systems. I'm using everything all at once. Now, obviously, in an individual time, I'm only using one device, but this video in itself shows how I can use multiple devices in conjunction. You know, I'm using the iPhone to record this, and I'm using my Ubuntu Touch in the as part of the presentation. A lot of these devices, they can complement one another, and I'm probably going to talk about that a little bit more in another video. But I did want to show this because it's been a long time coming. It's been a while. I've been sitting on whether I wanted to get the Pixel 3a. I wanted it really bad because I knew it would enhance my Ubuntu Touch experience. And it has to a great extent with the more memory, larger screen size than the Nexus 5, and way more storage, 4 times the storage. It's made such a big difference. The better streaming playback. And I used to hate the Pixel phones, the way they looked. A lot of phones that you see online or just, in pictures, in photos, when you get it in hand, it's a different experience. So now I have 3 Pixel devices, and I actually like the way they look in person way more than I thought when I saw them in photos online and in presentations online and reviews online. I always disliked them. The latest one with that kind of camera bar in the back, the look of it, again, on video and photos, I really don't like it. I don't like that design element of that camera bar. But who knows, if in a few years, if I were to get one used or something, I may have a totally different viewpoint once I get it in hand. It happens a lot with smartphones or any devices. Once you get it in hand, it's a different experience than just seeing it in video or in photos. Wow, so this has been a long video. I'm going to bring back some more Ubuntu Touch stuff. If you have any other comments, please drop them in the comments section below. But I want to thank you very much for watching. This is Digital Wandering signing off.